Hello, my name is David Parrish and I'm delighted to be part of ZLIN Design Week. Welcome to my office here in England. This is where I do a lot of my creative work and my business work, and it's my international headquarters. Because normally I'd be travelling a lot around the world helping creative people to be smarter with business. I do that through my conference speeches, my workshops and my individual coaching with creative entrepreneurs. I also write books and design training courses online. However, for the last year I haven't been able to travel, so I've converted my office also into a studio for making videos, because now I'm doing conferences online, and over the last year I developed new products which are video-based courses and toolkits. So that's my current update, and even though I'm locked down, I'm still helping creative people, designers and others around the world to be even smarter with business so they can achieve the success they want.
Your job is to find ways for talent to work with business. Do you feel more like a businessman or a creative?
Yes, indeed. My job, my profession, my passion and my mission is to help creative people work with business in a way that fits with their values and objectives. So I help them to use smart business models and methods to achieve greater success. Myself, I'm both a creative and a businessman. My background is working in the creative industries. I'm a writer. I also worked in book publishing and marketing, and so I've been working in the creative industries for a long time as a creative. And in my early days I didn't know anything about business, and therefore I made lots of mistakes. But I came to realise that knowing about business is useful for a creative, so that you can achieve the success you want, so that you can engage with business issues like marketing, writing contracts, dealing with finances, so that you can, as a creative, become even more successful. So I focus very much on the business side of things, helping creatives to be even more successful. But I acknowledge that there is creativity both in the studio, where the creatives work as a writer, a designer, a painter, architect or musician. But there is also creativity, I believe, in the way that we do business, because we have choices about how we engage with our customers, our collaborators, how we manage finances. There's a lot of creativity in that too. So I talk about two kinds of creativity. A creativity, using the letter A, meaning artistic creativity, which we find in the studio. But there is also a wider kind of creativity that we find in all fields of human endeavour, including business. And I call this I creativity, using the letter I for ingenuity and problem solving and thinking outside the box, so that we can be even more successful using creativity in the office as well as the studio.
When you hear business and creativity, what comes to your mind first?
Well, business and creativity is an interesting mix, and I believe that there is a lot of creativity in any kind of business, in businesses of all kinds, in the private sector and the public sector, in organisations, and all kinds of creativity to get things done. So we must acknowledge there is this wider kind of creativity beyond artistic creativity. And I sometimes help other companies in the different sectors of society and the economy to use creativity, including manufacturing and shipping companies. But actually, my main focus is on helping designers and other creative people to be smarter with business. So when I hear the term business and creativity, I think about how those things can be combined, how creative people can combine their creative talents with smart business thinking, using marketing and finance and collaborations and contracts in all kinds of creative ways that fit with their mission and their objectives. And so I call this combination of creativity and business T-shirts and suits. That's the metaphor I use. T-shirts representing the cool creative people and suits representing smart business thinking. And T-shirts and suits is also the name of my book, T-shirts and Suits, A Guide to the Business of Creativity. It's published in 14 countries around the world in various translations, and it's available as a free ebook from my website. So download it for free and use it and read it so that you too can become smarter with business in the context of your creative passions.
How creative should an artist be in terms of personality? How big art of doing business do you think is cooperation of creativity with other fields? Marketing, management.
Well, we're all creative, and my message is to you as designers and other creatives to be as creative as possible. We can't hold back our creativity, it happens anyway. So my message is actually that we should be as creative as possible, but we need to focus that creativity. We need to focus it very clearly on achieving the success that we want. Now, what is that success that you want? Some people want purely commercial success. Others want a combination of commercial and creative and lifestyle success. So you need to be really clear what you mean by success so that you can achieve it by focusing your creativity on the right kind of products and services, connecting with the right kind of customers, and doing it in a way that achieves the financial rewards that you deserve. Cooperation is vital. And this is what I mean by the combination of creativity and business, the cooperation between what we do in the studio and what we do in the office. And sometimes this can be as part of a larger team, where in a design company there is often a creative director and a business director. And so there needs to be cooperation and collaboration between them so they understand the two different aspects of the business. So that although they're focusing each on creativity or business, they understand the whole picture. So I think creativity and business need to cooperate immensely within a creative enterprise. And then the creative person also needs to understand enough about intellectual property rights and financial management and marketing so there can be a good and productive dialogue at the top of the business with the business owners, even if that's just two people or a complete board of directors. So this cooperation is absolutely vital.
What values from the field of creativity or business do you think are important to achieve success?
I think it's really important to be aware of our values, of the way that we want to do our work, what's important to us in terms of ethics, what's important to us in terms of success. So we need to be really aware of our own values so that we can work with them and develop our enterprise in the right kind of way. I think that probably one of the most important values is that of authenticity. To be true to yourself, to be your real self, not to pretend to be something else, not to adjust your personality to suit the wrong kind of customers, but to be your true self in terms of your creativity and your character. And that means that then we need to build a business formula around that authenticity. And in reality, in practice, this means that we need to work with the right kind of customers, with customers who like us for what we are, who appreciate our value as creatives. And so an important part of what I call a business formula is to work with the right kind of customers. Those customers with whom we can be our authentic selves, where we don't have to pretend or corrupt our personality to fit their needs. If that's happening, then we're dealing with the wrong kind of customers. So I think authenticity is right at the centre of building a good business formula, where we appreciate our strengths, where we appreciate there is competition and other people can do some things better, but there are some things that we can focus on. So focus on those, find the right customers, and in this way we can be authentic. And in reality, this means being open and honest, showing what you are, your work, your passions, your personality. And of course, some people won't like you, but that's okay. But those people who do like you will come to like you even more, will come to love you when they find out more about your authenticity as a creative and a personality.
If you should give one piece of advice to a novice designer to help him or her start their career, what would it be?
My advice to a designer starting their career would be to find your niche. As human beings, we want to do what everybody else is doing, and it's very easy to follow the crowd. But in this way, if we end up doing the same kind of design work as many other people, then it actually drives down prices, because the competition between people who are equally talented doing the same kind of work is then only about price. So to break out of this, we need to find what we can do that other people can't do. In other words, our competitive advantage. And that means being different. An artist friend of mine says, your difference is your strength. Be proud to be different. Focus on something that you can do even better than other people. And in this way, you can find a niche. The second part, of course, is to find those customers who want that speciality. It might be a particular kind of design work that you can excel at in relation to the competition. And so focus on that and find the customers who want that. It might be about your connections with particular communities. So again, your difference is your strength. Use your relative strengths to your advantage. And so my message is be prepared to be different, find your niche, don't follow the crowd, and in this way, once you find the right kind of customers, then you will achieve the success you want in both creative and commercial terms.
What does cooperation mean to you?
For me, the word cooperation brings to mind achieving win-wins. Finding agreements and collaborations in which both parties have equal success, equal outcomes. And that means that we need to be clear about what we want from any cooperation or partnership, of course, and that's the easy part. But to really cooperate well, to achieve lasting and sustainable collaborations, we need to fully understand the needs and the desires of the partner organisation or business or creative. So we need to do a lot of listening. We need to make sure that we fully understand what they want to achieve from working together, and then we can creatively construct a collaboration, a contract that works for both of us. And these are the kinds of cooperations that succeed and are often maintained over the long period of time. So that means we need to know if we look at the cooperation with customers, we need to understand what they value, what they like about our work, what they are prepared to pay, what they are really buying. If it's a cooperation with a funder or sponsor, then we need to know their agenda really well. We need to know what they want so that we can help them to achieve success within the collaboration. And the same goes for financiers, people investing in your enterprise perhaps, or sponsors. Again, with all of these, they have slightly different agendas, and we need to understand exactly what they want so that we can then construct a win-win situation. And that's what I think of as true, effective and sustainable cooperation. And so, in conclusion, I wish you every success in combining your creative talents with smart business thinking to achieve the success you want, the success in commercial, creative, and lifestyle terms. Good luck.